Have you ever gotten out of a situation, whether it's a friendship, a relationship, a work situation, a toxic work environment, and you look back on it and you just have that moment and you're like, damn, my friends were right, or my family was right, or even worse, damn, I knew better. I knew it was going to come out this way. I knew it. I saw it coming from a mile away. Well, that's what we're about to talk about today. We're about to talk about certain red flags that either I missed or that I pretended didn't exist. Obviously, until it was too late, until it got to a point that we couldn't recover from, that I couldn't recover from, until it got to a point that I could no longer accept it. So, that's what we're about to talk about today. And I may have to tread lightly, depending on the situation I choose to use or situations. Um, as always, being respectful of names. These are actual situations, actual people, and being respectful of potential situations and experiences that may or may not be happening currently. On that note, if you haven't seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, up there with the top 3 Spider-Man movies of all time. Anyway, so where we're going to start is speaking from a place of a relationship I was in, damn it, 10 years ago now. It's already 2026. So about 9, 10 years ago. Actually 10, 11 years ago. So going into that relationship, there is a saying, how you get them is how you lose them. And that should have been the biggest red flag. This person was involved with someone that I knew, one of my friends, someone I would even call my friend to this day, 10 years later. We were vastly different people 10, 11 years ago. Was involved with my friend at the time. Things happened. This person ended up being involved with me thereafter, and my friend was involved with someone else. This all happened in the span of like 1 or 2 months of the flip flopping and the switcheroos and all of that. This was a time. This was like 2016. All of that nonsense, right? You know about 2016. You know about 2016. So, that should have been the biggest red flag number 1. Is how we even entered this situation. Now, as far as touching on why it was ignored, I was in a very self-serving part of my life, where more so is if I wanted something, then that's just how it's gonna be, so I can get that thing. In this situation, it was her, it was that person. I was like, by any means, whatever it takes, I have her, cool. I don't care how I got it. This is where we are now. So that was mistake number 1. The second mistake in regards to this red flag of you get them how you lose them was I had zero interest, neither did my friend, from what I was communicated, of holding her accountable, holding myself accountable for how that situation played out. So lack of accountability was there from the onset of this relationship, right? Next red flag came up a couple months later, where we actually had a separation or an argument. Details are kind of fuzzy on the reason why, but had an argument. I remember this is when Fallout 4 had just came out on, I think, the Xbox One. Anyway, just to give y'all a sense of time, I was home chilling, cooling, playing Fallout. I get a call. Yes, ma'am. Blah blah blah. Hey, I did something. Please don't be mad. I messed up. Blah blah blah. So it's a call from her. She's telling me this. Long story short, not too much details. This person relays to me that she had a an intimate interaction with another one of my friends. The way you get them, the way you lose them. Problem is, even though I'm noticing this pattern, right, I chose to ignore it. Not ignore it. Obviously, that situation escalated, whatever, arguments, hurt feelings, all of that stuff. For whatever reason at that time in my life, once again, I chose to label that as acceptable for us to move forward. So even that wasn't the end of the relationship. Fast forward, time goes on. What ended up breaking this relationship, from my perspective, was at the end is that same thing happened one more time, but with her, and yeah, that happened one more time. Here when she wasn't, timelines, blah 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 blah. Ended up looking into it a little bit more. Turns out, last couple months of our relationship, there was an entirely separate relationship happening simultaneously. Back to that point, how you get them is how you lose them, and that time, the whole relationship unraveled. That one made my self-worth plummet to like an all-time low. The relationship ended up ending, all of that. Now, me choosing to ignore this pattern from this other person ended up revealing, in hindsight, a pattern within myself. Their pattern of disrespect towards the relationship, their pattern of lack of accountability, because there was always a reason to do it. There was always, well, I felt XYZ, I felt this, therefore it's justified from that person's perspective. Ended up creating a pattern to myself of, it's excusable. It's excusable because of what they're telling me, and I'm like rationalizing it. It's excusable because I couldn't do better. It's excusable because each incident made my self-value and self-worth get lower and lower and lower. So now I'm from a position of almost gratitude. Like I should be grateful that this person is even with me to begin with. Therefore, anything they do, I can rationalize it and excuse it in my head. And that lasted for that whole 2 years of whatever that relationship was. And it's hard for me to determine if that's something that I missed or was just choosing to ignore, or a combination of both. Like I might have missed it because I had the rose-colored glasses on. Same thing I may have or may not have mentioned in some other videos of where the people I've been with in an official capacity have been to a certain degree of like, oh, I'm lucky, I'm fortunate, that person's out of my league. That person is this, that person is that, because of this my view of self-worth at the time in these relationships. Um that I've now grown from and continue to grow out of. That's always going to be a work in progress, right? So that's where that came from. That was like the baseline of creating excuses for these things, for these other person's patterns. And me ignoring these red flags or accepting them was safer than losing that person. It was safer than ending up alone again. It was safer than that unknown. The comfort in the disrespect, the comfort in these arguments, the comfort in being accepting of this other person's repeated behavior, that comfort felt more safe than the unknown of, okay, well, what if I don't have this person anymore? What if I lose what if I lose our rhythm that we built? What if I lose the routine? What if I lose this person I know I can always talk to? What if I lose this person that knows these details about me? What if I lose this person that tells me that they love me? What if I lose this person that I'm telling them that I love them? And just got to a point where I wanted to preserve the comfort at all cost, even at a detriment to myself. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You telling me I should have got it together? See over there yapping. Um, and in this particular relationship, when that last incident happened, that there was the revelation of that person at the time having our relationship going on and a completely separate one at the same time. It just, that was the breaking point of like, enough is enough. Like I'm very clearly not enough. I'm very clearly not meeting whatever needs you think you have that I'm not meeting. And the rather explosive end to that relationship sent me and put me in a very dark part of my life for about a month or two. And in hindsight, of course, over the years, it took, because I ended up, not reconciling, but years later, I want to say about 7 or 8 years later, I ended up having a conversation with that person because we happened to be in the same city at the same time after, we had moved away. So, and there was some growth on her end, there was growth on my end. Not that there was forgiveness, but there was clarity and closure. And where I'm landing now in hindsight, after that conversation, after the closure, after the growth, which is the most important part, because I also want to stress you don't need closure from the other half of the situation. You need discipline and acceptance within yourself. And that's the key here. So, after that reflection, after the growth, we don't ignore red flags because we're stupid, because we're naive, because whatever other reason the peanut gallery may tell you in the moment, we ignore the red flags because we're afraid of what leaving might mean. We're afraid of the routine we're leaving, the person we're leaving, the life we've known. We're afraid of what it looks like without that. And that's where you have to ask yourself, how do I build a relationship within myself? How does Dominic find that relationship with Dominic where he's truly at peace and okay alone, and where with the right person he can only be better, that he can't give up any part of that security within himself to that other person. And that's just, in my perspective, the deeper meaning of what is that phrase of, like, we should be good apart but even better together, whatever that is. Taking that from that surface level phrase to like a deeper meaning. So all of that to say, we've all missed red flags. We've all chosen something that we know is not good for us. We've chosen something that our closest confidants, our people, know is not good for us. We've chosen to ignore those red flags and go for it anyway. It's not because we're dumb. It's not because we're stupid. It's because we're afraid of what the alternative is. And as soon as we build a secure, safe relationship within ourselves, we can get rid of that fear that drives us to ignore things that are so loud and so wrong for us. So, go see Spider-Man Brand New Day. Not related to this at all, but y'all be easy. You heard her. Y'all be easy. Keep interrupting those patterns, break those habits, and I'll see y'all next time.